What is going on, everybody? Shwazy here, and in today's video we are at the Rocky Mountain Drive event hosted by the Rocky Mountain Automotive Press. Huge thank you to RMAP and all of the manufacturers for bringing out all these vehicles. In today's video we're going to be talking about some of the cool cars standing behind me. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey everyone, before we dive into today's video, I want to tell you about Octane Coffee Company. It is the car-themed coffee company with a variety of different roasts paired with iconic names. You've got Big Block, Race Gas, The Goat. It's perfect for early morning cars and coffee or cruises down the canyon. It is the coffee for all car enthusiasts. Pick up your bag at octanecoffeecompany.com, link is down below, and get 10% off your first order using promo code OCTANE10. Now back to the video. Okay, so this is the EQS 580. It is the all-electric SUV in Mercedes lineup, and this is kind of the most expensive all-electric SUV that you can get from Mercedes at the moment. And you'll see a lot of touches of the EQS sedan, so you have that swooping front area with this fake grille with the little Mercedes emblems in this simulated black plastic grille. It's kind of got this cool 2 LED setup, which looks really nice at night. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show you what that looks like. And then you have your front splitter over here at the bottom. And now coming over to the side, you have this more aerodynamic shape to it, which kind of swoops over to the back. It actually doesn't look like too big of an SUV on camera, but standing in front of it in person, this does have pretty much the same length as like a Mercedes S-Class. So it is pretty massive. Coming over to the back, you have this large light bar that goes all the way from passenger to driver's side, the 4MATIC badge. Now let's talk about what this is. This is the 3-row SUV from Mercedes that offers seating for up to 7 individuals. And in terms of battery power, you have a 108.4 kilowatt battery, and you've got a 9.6 kilowatt charger, which allows this vehicle to charge at 200 kilowatts, allowing this vehicle to go from 10 to 80% in just around 31 minutes. So for those of you that have range anxiety, well, you don't have to worry about that because that's pretty quick charging. Now, pricing is not cheap. The EQS starts at $104,000, but you pay about $3,000 extra if you want the all-wheel drive version. And then if you want the 580 4MATIC, that one's about $126,000. Now let's talk about range. So the standard EQS comes with about 305 miles of range, 285 if you pick all-wheel drive. Now this one being the 580, you've got about 285 miles of range, and horsepower is of course upgraded because this is the larger, more powerful version of the EQS. You're looking at 536 horsepower, 633 pound-feet of torque. This thing will do 0 to 60 in just about 4.5 seconds. Now, this one does have 4MATIC all-wheel drive as its base option, so you can't get this in a rear-wheel drive version. And then the 580 also has head-up display. It's got 4-zone climate control, massaging front seats, and then in terms of fuel economy, if you can call it that, this is about 77 mpge, so mpg equivalent. You also have an adaptive air suspension, and this vehicle does come with rear axle steering as well. But let's talk about the inside because that's arguably even more impressive than the outside. Starting off, you have this almost suede-ish leather to the top. You have your ambient lighting over here. Mercedes has some of the best ambient lighting in the industry. Similar Mercedes style here, you have some wood grain dash, you have the Burmester audio system, you have your button down here to open up the liftgate, a cup holder, and a storage compartment. Starting over here, you do have these quilted leather seats, and you've got a pillow over here. So if you want to fall asleep while you're driving, well, you can do that, but no worries because this has a large suite of safety features on the inside. Of course, I'm joking, definitely don't fall asleep while you're driving, but taking a look over here, this one in particular comes with the hyperscreen. And this is probably one of the coolest features in any electric vehicle. The hyperscreen is an option, but it's a 56-inch screen, and it's really amazing. You've got a 17.7-inch screen over here for the center, a 12.3-inch screen for the passenger. I believe this is also a 12.3-inch screen for the driver. And so even though it's 3 distinct screens, Mercedes calls it one hyperscreen, and it really is impressive. I mean, this thing looks like you're in a spaceship. It's just truly incredible. Seeing it for the first time, I mean, I've heard about it, I've seen it in videos, but seeing it in person, you really have to experience it for yourself. Now, let's start off with the steering wheel over here. Nice leather wrapped. On the left-hand side, you have your touch-sensitive controls for your cruise control. This is something I showed off in the Mercedes GLE 63S, so if you want more detail on that, you can check that out. On the right-hand side, you have your controls to control your instrument gauge cluster and your volume. Now, taking a look at this gauge cluster display. It really is very vivid, very colorful. There's so many different features here, and you can cycle through various different themes like I've shown off in the GLE 63 as well. So similar software to every other modern Mercedes. I do love the way these air vents look, and again, a little bit more of that ambient lighting underneath over here, and then stretches underneath this hyperscreen over to the passenger side, and then you have a second strip that goes all the way above the hyperscreen as well. Now you can close this section up. You have this nice wood grain material, and then opening this up, you've got your wireless charging pad hidden all the way back here. You've got just a little storage compartment over here with NFC capability, and then you've got your cup holders, which you can actually remove from this section and open up a larger compartment. So that's a pretty cool feature of the Mercedes. Down here you have your engine start stop, even though there's no real engine. Over here you've got your 360-degree functionality, which really is impressive. I mean, you can look all the way down the street and see what's going on. It's truly an amazing software, and what they can do with technology is just amazing. This also has a fingerprint reader, so you can scan it and it will remember your memory seats and all the different functionality there. You've got touch sensitive controls for your volume, and then you've got just different types of driving modes and just how much electricity you have left inside of this vehicle. And then a little bit more of that suede Alcantara material. Opening this up, nice storage compartment, 2 USB ports, and then you've got this kind of floating center arm console. So this thing kind of floats above this section. You've got a little strap, rubber strap down here that you can put a purse or a wallet so it doesn't bounce around all over the place. Then you've got 2 more USB ports down there. So tons of charging devices inside of it. And then take a look, a little bit more of that ambient lighting over here. You do have a large panel sunroof. Now it is separated by this pillar over here, but still nice Alcantara suede, and then a second sunroof above the rear seats. Now let's jump to the rear seats and let me show you what that looks like. Now jumping back here, same nice use of materials on the door panel, and then take a look at these seats. They look gorgeous, and you have a little bit more of that pillow material here as well. Now jumping inside, you've got a large infotainment screen for the second row passengers, driver and passenger side. Same software essentially that you have on the hyperscreen as well. So lots of different functionality that you can play around with, and overall very comfortable seats to sit in. You've also got this center arm console over here that's got a third screen, and this screen is actually removable. So you can push this button and remove this device. I believe it's an Android operating system. This looks kind of similar to like a Galaxy tablet or something like that. And then you can control pretty much the left and the right screens using this tablet over here. Really cool tech. Awesome to see that. You got a wireless charging pad here as well. And then you do have a rear climate control. So you've got functionality to change the temperature and where the fan speed is blowing. You can even look at how clean the air is on the outside. And then I should mention you have heated seats back here as well. And you can adjust your seat settings similar to the front. Now what's interesting here is you see the button isn't actually moving forward. I'm just tapping it and putting a little bit of pressure, and it knows exactly where I want to go. So pretty cool haptic controls over here in the second row. And let me show you what the trunk looks like. Now jumping back here, you just push the Mercedes emblem, it opens it up. Really large amount of space back here. Now keep in mind, this is with the third row folded down, and I'm going to throw up the cubic feet of space that you have back here with that third row folded down. With it folded up, you definitely have a little bit less space back here. And then underneath here, you don't have too much space back here. It's just your charging cable and just a little compartment. And then you can actually raise and lower the second row seats by using this button over here. So if I push this button, it will even move the driver's seat if necessary. And then by pushing this button, you can see it will lower the second row seats with really just one click of the button. Now I should mention you have soft touch padding over here for the third row, if you can see that on the screen, and then you have heated seats back here in the third row as well. Now this thing is removable. Of course, if you have that third row, you can put it up, and that way you can actually fit 7 people. Now this one is pretty much the top of the line. You got the EQS 584 Matic, and the price range for this one is $149,000, pretty much $150,000, and it comes with this large laundry list of features. So of course this one has a lot of bells and whistles, but that's because you're paying a pretty premium price tag for it. Okay, so we're sitting in the EQS 580, and you know, this is a little bit of a different experience than say a Tesla, because this thing is more kind of that German build quality. I mean, from the inside, this doesn't feel much different than any other German vehicle or any other Mercedes I've driven, but you have that electric powertrain underneath. Now, this one being the 580, it's got the upgraded powertrain. This thing has about 536 horsepower and 633 pound-feet of torque. It will do 0 to 60 in just about 4.5 seconds. And this thing feels quick, just like any other electric vehicle you've driven. So I'm gonna give it some distance over here with the vehicle in front, stomp on the pedal, and wow, is it quick. I mean, this feels quicker than 4.5 seconds, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would say so. Wow.
It also helps that we have these pillows over here on the headrest that make it kind of nice and cushy to lay back and relax. The rear seats have that as well. Now, this being the 580, you have additional bells and whistles. You've got a head-up display. You've got 4-zone climate control. You also get massaging seats on this one, so you might as well activate that here for the front passengers. Now, we're gonna pass this vehicle over here. Very easy and quick to do with that electric powertrain. I mean, it's seamless. Now, this does have an adaptive air suspension, which helps with that on-road comfort. I mean, it's what you would expect from a luxury Mercedes. And you've got rear axle steering. So it has rear wheel steering to make it a little bit more seamless when you're, changing lanes on the freeway or in a parking lot. And again, I mean, the power here is just amazing. It does a really good job. It's really easy to break the speed limit here because you kind of just don't feel it. It's a very quiet cabin. Probably one of the quietest in the electric market right now because this is a Mercedes. It takes luxury as number one and then electric powertrain as number two. And like I said, you won't feel a big difference between other Mercedes. The only complaint I guess some people may have is everything is touch sensitive controls. So you don't really have any physical controls for your volume. It took us a second to actually figure out how to turn the volume down. There's no physical controls for your climate. Now, luckily, climate is consistently located down here at the bottom so you can access it. But if you're wanting physical buttons, you're not going to get that here. I mean, even the buttons over here, that is of course touch sensitive, and then your volume is over here, and again, it's all touch sensitive controls. But it fits in with the theme of this car. It's going to take some getting used to. Overall, let's talk about the driving dynamics of this vehicle. I mean, like I said earlier, this feels very similar to other Mercedes products. It just happens to be electric. Very smooth, very comfortable ride. This isn't necessarily sporty, even though this is the more powerful powertrain, but it feels good. Now, it doesn't come cheap though, but if you're comparing it to, maybe the Lucid or maybe a Tesla, now, this one is an SUV, and there's not really very many competitors out there. BMW has come out with one that competes closest to this, but this is kind of all you get for now, at least, as some electric manufacturers are pumping up and releasing more products. So if you need a 3-row SUV, electric powertrain, plenty of power, plenty of get up, tons of autonomous or semi-autonomous safety features, you really can't go wrong. And Mercedes offers a 4-year, 50,000-mile warranty on this, and they also include 2 years of complimentary charging of 30 minutes at Electrify America. So I'm not sure if you can do 30 minutes, then unplug and then plug in again 30 minutes, but it does give you up to 30 minutes of free electric charging at Electrify America stations for 2 years. So that's a really cool feature and a bonus of paying $150,000. But let me know your guys' thoughts on the EQS. Would you pick this over the competition and why? And then if this is your first time stopping by, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for all of the weekly car videos. Also check me out on all the social media for pretty much all the shorts content and the photos of these vehicles. And as always, everybody, I hope you stay schwazy, stay healthy, have a wonderful day.